Okay, thank you. I call the meeting of the Policy Review Committee to order at 10 a.m. this morning, Central Time. I'd like to designate the Lone Star Legal Department as secretary. Is that appropriate language?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'd like Bill to come up and lead us in the pledges to both flags, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Bill. And let's see, Mario, should I do a roll call real quick? So on the record, we have.
Yes, sir.
Present. Okay, see, I'd like to do roll call. Trustee Broussard is absent. Trustee Jim Kane.
I'm here.
Good morning, Trustee Kane. Thanks for joining us today. And myself,
sir.
Mike, here as well. Like to certify posting of the notice of the meeting.
Meeting has been posted in accordance with the law.
Okay, thank you very much. And do we have any public comment this morning?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 5, approval of the minutes of the April 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Policy Review Committee. Trustee Kane, would you be kind enough to offer a motion, please?
So moved that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. I'll second. Is that appropriate, Mario, for the chair to second? Okay, I'll
Yes, sir.
second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Agenda item passes unanimously. We're going to skip item 6. There's no discussion. Item 7, policy considerations. Proposed subject policies for approval to continue moving forward through the policy review comment. And that says NA, Mario, is that
We
correct?
have none, sir. That's correct.
Okay, and policy B, proposed subject policies for approval to refer to the Board of Trustees. First, governance, action item number 1, and I'll pitch the mic to you, sir.
Yes, sir. So we would require a motion to move that action item forward to the Board of Trustees. At that time, if it is successful, it would appear on the June board meeting.
Okay, good. Is Melissa here as a resource, or does she actually discuss the item?
Yes, sir. We always ask the person who is proposing the proposed policy to be here as the subject matter expert and to advocate. As you're well aware, the Office of the General Counsel merely stewards these policies. It is very rare for us to actually be the proponent of the policy change. And so in this case, Board Counsel Melissa Mahalik is on virtually as the proponent of these changes to Section 1 governance or action item 1.
Okay, good. Trustee Kane, if you have no objection, I'll turn the floor over to Melissa then.
No objection.
Okay, thank you. Melissa, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. So most of the changes that I've proposed in these policies were just to bring them up to date with current law. Specifically, there were some changes to the public comment portion of the Open Meetings Act and a couple of other areas of the Open Meetings Act. There were also some provisions in here that were inconsistent with the practices the board had been observing after COVID. Specifically, rather than going into closed session at the beginning of the meeting, you all are now doing that towards the end of the meeting. And so wanted to make sure for purposes of public participation in board meetings that it was clear when members of the public would need to sign up and would need to come, and also changes to how the board chair has the ability to make adjustments to the public comment portion of the meeting in order to make the meeting run more efficiently. For instance, the Open Meetings Act now allows the board chair to adjust the time when you've got a large number of people who have come to speak at a meeting to make sure that you're still running your meeting efficiently. There is a minimum amount of time under the Open Meetings Act that's reflected in your policies here. So that was the bulk of the legal changes. There were some other changes just for organization purposes, and then I went through these policies with Dr. Head, and he recommended a couple of operational changes, specifically the removal of Waller ISD from the service area, And then some language regarding programs offered by the college to include bachelor's degrees that was not previously reflected in the policy. So that's just sort of a high level overview of the changes that have been proposed here. If you have any specific questions about changes, I'd be happy to answer those as well.
Okay, thank you. I do have a couple of questions, but I'll defer to Trustee Kane first.
No, I have no questions.
Okay, good. Thank you, Trustee Kane. Melissa, I was just wondering what precipitated bringing this item forward?
It was precipitated at a meeting some time ago when you had a large number of people come, and I pulled up the policy and I realized that what was in the law regarding the board's ability to make adjustments to public comment was not also reflected in your policy. And so I wanted to make sure that your policy was consistent with the current law. And so as I was doing that, I just reviewed this entire section. General counsel advised that this section of board policies is really under the purview of board counsel because it deals with board operations. So I just, as I was looking for those open meetings changes, I reviewed for any other issues I saw as well.
Okay, a good explanation. They are under your purview, but I do want to ask Office of General Counsel, you okay with these changes? Do you support them, object to any of them? Do you have a recommendation for the committee?
Yes, sir. So we always defer to board counsel on matters arising under section 1. So we will follow their lead. The only question that I had for board counsel was I did want to make, particularly in the setting that we're in, these recommended changes move the PRC itself from being an ad hoc committee to being a standing committee. And I wanted to make sure that that was highlighted for y'all because this is the very committee that we're meeting under right now. And so from my perspective, the change would be then that instead of having the ability to appoint ad hoc committees sua sponte, Chair Stoma or any chair, once this policy becomes effective, would lose that ability, and the appointments made at the first meeting following the election would be those appointments for the duration of that chair's tenure. And I just want to confirm that with board counsel because it has a very direct effect on this committee.
Yeah, and thank you for clarifying that, Mario. My understanding when I drafted these changes was that the policy review committee was a standing committee. I do recall that Trustee Stoma has indicated he would like to appoint different variations of the policy review committee. So if there's a concern with that, I have no concerns with pulling that revision before this is forwarded to the board.
So I have no concerns. I just want to make sure that we're clear so that as Chair Sullivan pointed out at the beginning of this meeting, the Office of the General Counsel is the secretary for these proceedings. So we want to make sure that we are accurately reflecting both the intent and the language of the board policy. So again, we take no position as to the propriety of that, but I would like that clarified moving forward. So that is the only clarification that I have, Chair Sullivan. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Any additional comment on that, Melissa? I've got a question, but want to defer to you first.
No additional comment. As I said, I'm fine with either. I moved it to, and I'm looking at the red lines, and I see that. I guess it wasn't clear to me in the first version that the policy review ad hoc committee, but if that's the case, then we can. A simple change would just to move policy review committee down lower in that section, I think would address it. But as I said, I'll defer to the committee chair on how you all would like to proceed with that.
Okay, Trustee Kane, I hate to make a change like that without input from the board chair. So we could either discuss among ourselves here today to leave the formation of the PRC as is, or to advance the item forward to the board as currently written by Melissa, and then ask if that could be amended at the board table to reflect the chair's preference. Does that make sense?
It does, and perhaps that's the better way to go.
Okay, so do we leave then? I'm still addressing Trustee Kane. Do we then vote this out as is today with the public understanding that the chair can amend it at the board table at the next board meeting with an affirmative vote by the full board?
Well, it seemed that that was his intention. That was the chair's intention from the outset. So perhaps that would be a better alternative.
Okay. Any thoughts on that process, Mario?
No, sir, that is fully y'all's prerogative.
Okay, I would never, and I'm gonna say it publicly, I would never want the chair to think I'm trying to hijack a committee. It's the last thing in the world I want anyone to think, because I'm here to serve either once, twice, or more, and have no preference as to who chairs the committee for any respective issue or to chair it throughout the term of these offices. That's just what I think. Trustee Kane, any thoughts?
I understand what you're saying, and I think that, looking back as to what statements the chair made early on about committees, I think that the best course of action today is exactly what you're saying, is to move forward with the possibility of an amendment at the next meeting.
Okay, very good. Sounds like we have that full understanding. It's all on the record, it's all public. We have agreement from general counsel here at Lone Star. We have agreement from board counsel with Melissa. Melissa, anything else you want to add before I call for action item, or excuse me, call for action on this item? Looks like she drifted off.
Did we lose her? She just messaged me that she lost power.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm glad we have all of her input that she wanted to give. All right, with that said, does Mario, does the committee need to vote on this today? Do we need to take action?
You don't need to, but if you would like to see it at the June board meeting, then yes, that would be a requirement.
Okay, would I be, may I make a motion, or may I ask Trustee Kane if he would like to make a motion to advance this item to the full board?
Yes, sir, you may.
And even though it's not listed here on
So
the agenda.
No, it is
Discuss.
action item.
Oh, action item. Okay, very good. Trustee Kane. Would you be interested in offering a motion to advance this to the full board for consideration?
so moved.
Okay, motion by Kane, second by Sullivan. All in favor, voice vote, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Trustee Kane. With that said, I will send Trustee Stone, Chair Stoma a text at the conclusion of the meeting telling him that the PRC voted this out, and he will then give me instructions on what the next step would be. And I'll let you know, Trustee Kane, afterwards as well by text, if that's okay.
That's
Since
fine.
we won't have a quorum, we won't be a walking quorum. Mario, anything else from your side, sir?
No, sir. That
Sure.
concludes our business for today.
Okay, very good. I want to thank OTS for getting us all teed up today, and the Office of General Counsel, and you and your team. Thank you. Desiree, thanks for being here. Bill, of course, and the star on the back row who keeps it all running. That's right. We're looking at you. All right. With that said, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.